So we're doing some calibration here on our new seeder. We're at our neighbor Lynn's house. Hopefully we can get the calibration right. We'll explain all about that and explain more about what we're doing with this seeding project. Let's get started. And now it says 2.5 ounces. We have to do some fancy math, but not very much math. What portion of a pound is that? 16 ounces a pound?
Yes.
2.5 divided by 16 times 354.4 equals. That's 55.375 pounds per acre. So I need half that. So I need to adjust this to about half as open as what it was. Let's try that right there. Boy, that's not much. There's 2 separate sets of gears on this seeder for the drive mechanism. And when I originally got the seeder, I had the slow set of gears, meaning the lower rate gears. And then we looked at the grass seed that I typically plant when I'm doing lawn seeding, and we needed up to 400 pounds, maybe even more than 400 pounds per acre. So we put in the fast gears, or the higher seeding rate gears for that. And wouldn't you know it, the first actual seeding project I have is here at my neighbor Lynn's house. And this wants 23 pounds per acre. So half or even less than what we were geared up for. So let's see if we can get it adjusted to that. I really like this calibration mechanism. Depending on which set of drive gears you have, the high rate or the low rate, you either use 4 rounds with the crank or you use 11.3 rounds with the crank. So we have the high rate on, so we'll use the 11.3. Here we go. 1, 5, 6, 11.3. Well, that's certainly a lot less seed than what we got the first try, so I think we're making progress. I'm hoping this is a little bit too low of a rate so that I can open it up just a little bit more. 7/8 of an ounce. 7.5 ounces divided by 16 times 354.4. Now why 354.4? Well, because that's what the book says. So they've done all the calculations to convert how many pounds you gather in this trough for a set number of turns to pounds per acre. So that's very helpful, and it's actually pretty easy. So this says 19.3. So we're going to open it up just a little bit. Well, it's not much, but it was just a little, I think. 1, 2, 10, 11.3. 1 7/8. That's a lot more. It's almost double the seed, isn't it? That's 41. I have got to tighten it down a little bit. Again, this is because of the high gears, Christy. That with these faster, higher rate gears, the resolution down at the lower amount.
So you could switch out the gears is what you're saying, but...
Well, yeah, and the reason I don't want to is because it's not incredibly easy to do so. 10, 11.3. Now this seeder is expensive, but we're demonstrating its value right now. If we can get this seeding rate pretty accurate, then over the course of all of your usage of it, you're going to save a lot of money. Because typically we use the approach that we used in an earlier episode where the customer says, we'll just carpet bomb it. And yeah, he just meant just keep applying seed, hoping you get a stand somehow, right? Now here we go. That's 7/8 or 1. So we're down to right back where we had it a few minutes ago, about 19 pounds per acre, and I think that's the level of accuracy we're going to see here. I believe we could get more detailed if we went to those lower gears, you know, but I like my neighbor Lynn, but he's not worth it. He's off camera right now, so he just kind of smiled. Lynn, this seeder is designed to do new seeding or overseeding. With these discs, you can angle them, right? In your case, you've already tilled it, you've got it really scratched up where you need it. So we're just going to leave the discs straight. We're not asking this machine to do any of the digging itself. There's also spiked rollers that you can replace these disc blades with. And then you can angle those as well. And if you angle those, they can get fairly aggressive too, right?
So it really reduces your passes that you need to make over fields, saves fuel, and saves your time.
Yeah, and then if you do want to do cultivation without the seed being applied, there's a pin over here that we can take out, and it allows the machine to roll without it actually turning the seeder, okay? Now there's a spike roller in here. Do you see it right down here? That is the drive. So this is a ground-driven seeder. That's gonna make it consistent rate. Doesn't matter how fast I drive. Obviously there would be a limit to that. I'm certain that if I drove really fast that it probably wouldn't be able to get it, you know, to come out at the same rate. But that's where we get our consistency. So hopefully we can take your 23 pounds of seed and cover your 1 acre. If we can't, I'm gonna blame your measuring. I'm gonna say that it's not quite an acre. That's a better choice than saying I doubled some of it or that I didn't get the seed adjusted. All the things that could be my fault, that's what didn't happen.
I was also a liberal arts student, so I know nothing about anything. One other question, what horsepower tractor does it need to effectively run this equipment?
That's a good question. It's actually specifically built for a subcompact tractor. Okay. Now you have a 755 John Deere. That's a wonderful tractor. People love it. I know a guy that would buy it today if he knew that it had the original loader on it like yours does and everything. But anyway, a subcompact tractor, a Kubota BX, a 1023, 1025 John Deere. It's smaller than this one actually. We've got it on the Kubota LX here today, but we don't need that big of a machine for it. It just happened to be the machine that was available today to operate it. The biggest thing is lift capacity, and this one's been lightened so that it can be lifted. If you'll notice, these Cultipackers are made out of poly. Typically they're made out of cast iron. We've reduced the weight, and that weight is way back there too, so it would make it harder to pick up.
And the spring mechanism keeps the roller down and make contact as opposed to the weight.
Yes, yes. So this is a little bit of the compromise of this seeder, right? Because it's lighter so that it can be picked up by a small tractor. It's not quite as heavy. It won't have as much down pressure as some of the larger, heavier seeders. But the trade-off is you get to run it on a small tractor.
Right.
We plant the seed, but God makes it grow. So I'm not sure if we can get a stand here or not. We're a little bit late.
No guarantees.
We dilly-dallied a little bit. So we should have been out here seeding.
Well, it was so wet, Tim, we couldn't have worked the soil.
We really have had a very wet spring. It's not unusual for us to have wet, cold springs, but we certainly had one this year. We'll let you have a little look-see here at the contents, what we're actually seeding. Pasture RX with Yellow Jacket mixture. It's 50% seed and 50% coating. So when we say planting 23 pounds per acre, we're only planting about 11.5 pounds of seed. The rest of it is this coating. It says orchard grass, red clover, tall fescue, tetraploid annual ryegrass, 3 different blends of alfalfa, 1.3% inert matter. This is the pin I was telling you about right here that connects or disconnects the ground-driven roller to the seed drive. I want to talk a little bit about the steering brakes. I've said I'm going to have a dedicated episode on how the steering brakes work, and well, I just haven't got around to it, so maybe it's a good time to talk about it a little bit in this episode. Usually the steering brakes have several different features, but one of them is allowing you to turn a little bit shorter. You'll even see turning radiuses listed with brake, without brake, etc. Well, I'm going to illustrate what that means. Right now, I've got the brake depressed a little bit, so I'm trying to stop the left rear brake here so that I can turn shorter. And you can see that it's pulling the wheel around. You can actually see that it's pulling a little bit. Unfortunately, with a little tractor like this, I can't just lock it up. Number one, it's not pulling it here, but the other is that I'll skid this rear tire. If I had the loader off, I might be able to lock it up and slide the front end around, and that would save me a lot on turning radius. Another point in general on turning radius is, for this particular application, I have to have big turns at the end. So, yeah, tighter turning radius would be great. It looks like we're seeing some seed usage. And thankfully it's not all gone after the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
I probably should have taken the loader off for this because then I would have been able to spin the front end right around. I also would have been able to get closer to the fence. Never really thought about it. I'm out here seeding now, so it is what it is. There's what I'm talking. Oh, you didn't catch that, did you?
Probably not. I can see it.
Now Lynn has tilled this. I'm not sure whether he may have got it a little bit too much or what, but we'll see how this works out. It's meant to be kind of an overseeding. I don't think he was really happy with the seed that he had out here, so he wasn't too worried about getting rid of it. But at the same time, I think maybe we shouldn't have tilled it quite so much. It's pretty hard to do it any lighter though with a rototiller. We're not using much seed. Did you see any coming out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we see it, Lynn?
No.
You would think you could see some of that yellow.
Well, that's kind of why it's bright yellow, so you can see it.
Yeah.
All right.
And it should be on top of the ground somewhat too.
There's a little more now coming out than there was.
Okay.
At least I can see from the seed. It's just not very much.
You opened it up a little bit more. You see anything now? No?
Well, I see seed now. Not really noticing the seed going down much. I don't mind to try to kick it open a little bit more.
Looks like he's opened it up a little bit more.
I just don't know why at the calibration stage stuff was coming out real nicely and now it's not coming out as much. So something to do with that, those gears running in there, and it's getting gummed up where that coated seed is or something, don't you think?
I think so, yeah.
So it's probably because those gears don't stick out very far at all, not enough to get a good bite, you know, and again because I've got it on the fast.
Yeah, and pretty low, yeah.
Now we're seeing seed now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We marked when you adjusted it out so that we know.
Okay.
Yeah, where to go back to.
I can see seed everywhere now.
Yeah, it's going down some.
Okay. We're finally probably at the rate we ought to be. We'll just start over and work our, after I do the headlands and everything, and work our way back to where we were.
Now you can see seed on the ground.
You're able to see seed now, right?
Yes.
Check the seed box, Lynn, see what you think. See if we're using any. Or if we're just driving around for fun.
No, it's down to the level of the auger now.
Okay.
So, and you can see how much you're getting
we're
out,
spitting
so.
some out. This is an example of it not being heavy enough. It's just not, you know, there's not good seed to soil contact on anything low there, is there? Yeah, we're not going to have enough to get back to our flag. I don't really want to try to turn it back down. We may have to buy Lynn another bag of seed. This looks like about the last round, doesn't it? Seems like it uses about that box full every round. Yeah, what do we have there? Looks similar, huh? That looks more like fescue stuff. Pasture perfect. It's got some orchard grass, some fescue, some timothy. Yeah, you might like seeing a little of this.
There's just no red clover in it.
Yeah, that makes it cheaper.
Yeah, I got into the last couple of years some pretty good slobbers because I had a lot of white clover out here. And it gets a little bacteria on it. And the horses can eat it. It doesn't hurt them, but they just drool like crazy.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, just slobber and drool. Red clover doesn't fall prey to that, whatever it is, the fungus or whatever.
Okay, well, we'll spread that much and see what happens.
You bet.
It
put
eats
some
that
more in
stuff
there?
right on through. Well, we can. It's different stuff. It might be interesting to you to see how the different stuff looks. Put 2 big handfuls on every hole. Okay, so I've got this project essentially done. We're seeding a little bit extra here in the middle where I didn't get enough on. So what have I learned? I've learned, number one, that if you're going to be seeding less than 50, maybe even less than 75 pounds of seed per acre, you need to have the lower speed gears. I have the higher speed gears. With the lower speed gears, you're able to have the feed mechanism open wider, and that's going to help better. The second thing I've learned is sort of well, it's related to that. The coated seed gummed up the mechanism when I had it just barely open, when I had it just a little bit open. So it led to inconsistent rates. In fact, it got to where it wasn't dropping hardly any. Now, most of this is not going to be something that would be repeated, right? If you get a seeder like this, typically you're going to be seeding the same material repeatedly. So you'll go through these lessons when you first get started and you'll get it seeding the way you think. And you'll be able to continue to use that. Even if you want to change rates, you'll learn and understand how the seeder is going to work, and you're not going to have any issue with that. I love this calibration tool on the side. The only reason I had issue with it today was because, again, that coated seed. I guess we got her done.
You guys worked very hard. It looks great. Looking forward to seeing the results in a few weeks. And
yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. It looks good now, but if it doesn't germinate and doesn't grow, it won't look so good.
Well, just by lightly scratching it and leaving some existing grasses, it's going to give a little root structure to help it. And this grass, once we get a little water on it, will be growing and it'll support the growth. And
yep. As long as we don't have just 90 and 95 all the way out for the next 3 weeks without any rain, we should be fine.
Yeah.
This is an amazing garden spot of the world. I mean, you can make anything grow here. until it gets way hot in the summer. Now it's almost 90 today. It probably is 88, 90, something like that. So, you know, we'll have to have some cooler weather than this. I really like this seeder. I think it's got a lot of potential. I think I've got a lot of learning to do. It's simple to pull. There's no hydraulics. There's no PTO. There's a lot of things that are simple about it, but it's also quite complex because of getting the rate adjusted just right. Once we get onto that, I mean, we'll share with you guys more and more as we learn about this seeder. This is going to be a way to save money because we've always thrown too much seed at the problem. I don't know about you, but if it says 25 pounds to the acre, I don't know whether I got that or not. I'll just go ahead and put 50 or 70 or, you know, and end up overdoing it. More's coming with that, but I felt like a real farmer.
You look like one too, Tim.
Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you, Tim. I appreciate it very much.
I kind of messed that up, didn't I?
No, we'll do it again.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on Tractor Time with Tim.
Know that the Lord, He is God. It is He who has made us, and not we ourselves. We are His people and the sheep of His pasture.
No, we don't do anything again. We take it the first try.
Well, I appreciate it so very much.
Yeah, well, thank you. And if we don't get it, we'll do it again.